Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. In the month of July, we have got giant specials on everything at Made-in-1776.com. The already discounted Made-in-1776 t-shirts are only $17.76. We have the new belt buckles that in only 2 weeks of sale are very close to selling out. There's only 500 of each. We're talking about Made in America belt buckles in nickeled brass. This is more than a summer blowout special. This is a new declaration of independence. But to expand the InfoWar, we're offering the equivalent of more than 5 months free right now when you get a membership at PrisonPlanet.tv for a limited time, only $39.95 a year. That's more than 5 months free off the regular price. Not just this July 4th weekend, but the entire month of July at Made-in-1776.com. Molon Labe, you can take my gun from my cold, dead hands.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level. I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Sourced from powerful organic herbs, harvested around the planet, and then concentrated for maximum potency.
I just received my Male Vitality about 3 days ago, and I must say, that is good stuff.
After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality and getting the day started.
It's not just the Super Male Vitality. All the products at InfoWarsLife.com are simply amazing. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
We are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy to get people actually to love their servitude. People can be made to enjoy a state of affairs which, by any decent standard, they ought not.
That's Aldous Huxley, by the way.
Perhaps you had better start from the beginning.
Well, we did. We're being bred like cattle.
Perhaps you had better start from the beginning. Perhaps you had better start from the beginning.
Too many kids are what's making the planet worse.
A lot of these kids come from bad gene pools. They don't have stable parents making good decisions.
Mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics. These new studies suggest that the opposite, that the preservatives may actually be associated with improved behavior and mental performance.
Mercury's good, kids.
Water is supposed to fight tooth decay, but could it also cause cancer?
Turns out the government had the right under U.S. law to conduct secret testing on the American public under specific conditions.
We have to work the dark side, but we want to spend time in the shadows.
Any attempt to achieve world order must be the work of the devil. Well, join me. I'm glad to sit here at the right hand of Satan.
There's a need for a new world order. Someday, in the next few years, a solution will emerge.
That's Henry Kissinger, by the way. If I say that globalists are tyrants. I'm a conspiracy theorist. If I say mercury attacks your brain cells like no other heavy metal, I'm a conspiracy theorist. If I say Harvard, in its own study of 24 other studies, says that fluoride in the water reduces your IQ by at least 10 points, 7-fold increase in bone cancer, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Doesn't matter, those are all absolute facts. Doesn't matter if 2 Americans have now gotten Ebola in Africa, and it's 1 plane ride away, the CDC says. Huge Ebola outbreaks all over Western Africa. It's just no big deal. I'm a conspiracy theorist. If I say our government publicly funded ISIS and Al-Qaeda to turn them loose worldwide, doesn't matter if it's a fact, I'm a conspiracy theorist. If I say that DrudgeReport.com on the right-hand side is linked to that article that Adon Salazar just published 20 minutes ago, and that is that the illegals are to be given preferential treatment during hurricanes for evacuation out of the country. A professor's come out and said that guest worker program is freezing Americans out of the middle class. That's USA Today. Death train to increase traveling speeds to deter jumping on board. In the event of emergency, illegals to be evacuated before citizens. And we reported on this a while back. Now it's at mainstream news. Border Patrol points loaded gun at Iowa Boy Scouts troop on the northern border. Plan is to get unaccompanied women and children to safer ground. End of Christianity. Bishop warns ISIS could wipe out Christians in the Middle East, drive the Nazarenes into the desert. Well, that's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take your phone calls after we finish up with our guest here in a moment. The toll-free number to join us to discuss all of this designed chaos is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Again, 800-259-9231 on this live Monday edition. But I wanted to ask our guest who's on with us, Neil Schulman, a best-selling author, researcher, alongside NightMovie.com that Ron Paul and Kevin Sorbo and others are in, that you can help make a success. I wanted to ask him, though, I mean, he hits on building our own economic systems, becoming self-sufficient as the collapse comes into view. Ron Paul's talked about blaming the globalists for the collapse so they don't blame what's left of real capitalism for crony capitalism when that goes down. I think that's key as well. But also reaching out to people in the system so they understand the big picture, exposing the globalists as wanting to ride this collapse that they helped engineer, but also becoming somewhat self-sufficient, or even thinking about being self-sufficient will then move us in the right direction. I totally agree with you, because you can see the system, as I said before we went to break, they do everything they can to make us dependent and to make us basically be like domesticated jellyfish. Why do you think that is, Neil? I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, that's their weak point. They're worried about libertarians and patriots who understand what freedom's about, just like cancer worries about being cut out of the body by the scalpel, if it had a consciousness, and they're worried about self-sufficiency. So I think if you look at how they're arrayed to stop us, you see the answer to defeat them right there.
Look, in Star Wars, what leads to the destruction of the Empire? It's their hubris. It's their belief that the Death Star is actually more powerful than the Rebel Alliance. Okay, we have the tradition of freedom. They are counting from centuries of public education, from control of the mass media, from control of the culture. They think that they can make us forget who we are. They can't. We won't forget. We will never forget. Now, I also need to point out something else, Alex. You're always trying to unearth secrets. You're looking for the whistleblowers. You're trying to find out what the enemy is doing in secret. That's great work. But what they do out in the open, what they brag, what they consider their triumphs, is perfectly sufficient for us to recognize them for what they are. We don't need to look at the curtain to know that that there is no wizard there.
Very profound. No, I agree with you. And so much of what is out in the open, because you're informed, is not out in the open to the public. still maybe 30% of the public in polls thinks hydrofluorosilicic acid is good for them. And then I say to them, well, then why are they forcibly putting it in? Why don't you just take it? Forced medication is against the law, federally at the state level and under the Geneva Convention, and they just laugh at me and just move on with their ignorance. So I don't even so much cover what's secret. I do some of that, but what is public but hidden in plain view.
That's exactly right. But we need to just remember who we are. We need to remember what our basic principles are. And if we act according to the principles that we were founded on as a nation, as a country, not as a state, not even as a federation of states, because that's a political construction which is a temporary device to try to restrain them.
Sure. It's the culture of America, the ideals that were never truly realized that threaten the dragons of the New World Order. It's not that the state of America was ever that good or special. It's just compared to the other slag heaps, it was a little bit better, so prosperity had a better chance here and became the model of the world. But then the parasites flocked here like locusts to a cornfield because that's where prosperity had been created. Now we've entered into this decadent trough, a bottom trough, hopefully. Hopefully it's the end of this deepening decadence. So I get what you're saying, but the construct of our republic is certainly better than the North American Union or the United Nations. So many libertarians are just ready to let it all collapse. My issue is we are collapsing into a greater form of evil government. What do you say to that?
I say that has been an ongoing process for a long time, and that's why we need to focus. We need to focus on solutions. Okay, we need to be solution oriented. You're solution oriented in a lot of ways with a lot of your products that you talk about. Okay, we need to be solution oriented in terms of power, in terms of communication, in terms of transportation. We need to look, I've said it before as a joke, but it's partially true. If the Declaration of Independence today would read like a 12-step program as we wean ourselves away from government. But the point is, we are reaching a crisis point where the system is going to collapse upon itself. We don't need to seek out a revolution. They are bringing on a revolution, and it's simply a matter of when the music stops.
I agree.
Who is going to have a chair left? Who is going to have a chair left? And I say it needs to be we liberty seekers are not eliminated by them.
But they think the collapse is going to bring in their Valhalla utopian socialist technocratic construct. There's no way it's going to work. It's going to be an unbelievable, unmitigated disaster. I mean, do you think they have a method of their madness at the technocratic level?
It's again going back to Star Wars. The more they tighten their grip, the more the system will slip through their fingers. Okay, the balance to every controlled economy is a counter economy. We are the counter economy. We will build the economy so that it becomes the economy, and we do that by making our business resilient and immune to their attacks.
What does your gut tell you, Neil? What does your gut tell you? How is this going to end?
I think it's going to end in triumph because we have history on our side. We have economics on our side. Their economics is based on a lie that you can create something out of nothing. Our economics is based on a truth that that the people who produce things are the crucial the crucial base to our security and our freedom. They think that we will be fooled, that we will accept them as our paternalistic nanny state. That's a bit of a contradiction, but I think it covers both ends of it. We're not going to. That's not the basic principles that our freedom was founded on, that our prosperity was founded on. We simply need to remember who we are and say, no, you are not my master.
Well, I agree with that statement, and we have to just respond to the mind control by pointing out what an unmitigated fraud it is. Again, the movie is AlongSideNightMovie.com. Folks can find out the details there. Neil Schulman, thank you so much for the time.
It has been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure having you. I want to go to your phone calls now, ladies and gentlemen. And then I'll get into the other news on the Middle East, North Korea threatening to nuke the White House. That's just more fear-mongering by another mentally ill statist, Kim Jong-un. We'll also get into mass incarceration